Well, Max Fried was terrific for the Yankees as they rebounded and pounded the Rockies at Coors Field. Angels' win streak comes to an end. Phillies' win streak continues as the A's have now lost 11 in a row. Our latest edition of MLB Game Night, every game, every night, is now underway.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Welcome on in. He is Lindsay Crosby, host of the Atlanta Braves, Locked On Atlanta Braves postcast. You can follow Lindsay on the X at Crosby Baseball. I'm Steve Lenox, host of the Locked On Red Sox postcast. You can follow me on the X at Lenox on Baseball. Plenty to get to as we go around the majors for Saturday. Max Fried, plenty of run support at Coors Field. Guardians clinched their series in Motown. They'll face Tarek Skubal going for the series sweep on Sunday. And the Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr. homering for the second straight game since coming off the IL. Our latest MLB Game Night presented by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. And Lindsay, for the second straight night, we start off with the Rockies and the Yankees at Coors Field continuing their series. We opened with that Friday night into Saturday morning because the Rockies beat the Yankees in a low-scoring game. Little different and maybe an as-expected result on Saturday.
Yeah, Yankees take this one 13-1. Believe it or not, only one home run. Like it wasn't the long ball. Aaron Judge hit a solo home run in the win, his second of the series. But this was just a ton of extra base hits for the Yankees. We've got Jay Berman from Locked On Yankees with his thoughts on the victory.
Yanks blow out the Colorado Rockies 13-1. Yanks blasted 21 hits. That's a season high. They scored 10 runs in the fifth inning. 4 different Yankees had at least 3 hits. Aaron Judge hit a home run, his 18th. Every Yankee player that had an at-bat had at least 1 hit. That's the offense. As for the pitching, Max Fried. What else is new now? 7-0. Yanks have won 10 of his 11 starts. He allowed just 1 earned run while striking out 7, again in 7 1/3. His season ERA is now 1.29. That all sets up a rubber game of 3 on Sunday. Will Warren goes for the Bombers. Antonio Senzatella goes for Colorado. Remember, folks, the Rockies have yet to win a series this year. Rubber game of 3. 3:10 first pitch on Sunday. On Saturday, final score 13-1.
And they do have a chance to win the series. They have a chance to do something they haven't done all season long.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Will Warren has been great his last couple times out, but he struggled to start the year. And whenever you have a guy that depends on his stuff moving a certain way, you go to Coors Field, and that could not happen. So this could be a low-scoring game. This could be a high-scoring game. But the Rockies absolutely do have a chance. They are in position to win a series, and it feels like the first time we've even said that in a while.
Senzatella, Jay Berman mentioned he starts for the Rockies in the finale on Sunday, a record of 1-8 and a 6.34 ERA. This has been a great series in Motown. Guardians winning again against the Tigers on Saturday. They've taken the first 3 games of the series. We hear from Jeff Ellis, and I haven't heard from Jeff Ellis all that often with Guardians, but they're off to a 3-0 start in the series. And again, opportunity to complete a 3-game series sweep with the finale on Sunday.
Cleveland Guardians have won the series against the hottest team in baseball after splitting a series against the hottest team in baseball. I'm Jeff Ellis of Locked On Guardians, and let's get into a huge win for the Cleveland Guardians. It's interesting to think back to Thursday at the end of Game 1, and there were people who said this team was a pretender, that they were lucky to be anywhere near 500. Since then, they won 4 straight games, including 3 against the Detroit Tigers, who had not lost 3 games in a row since the very beginning of the season. This is also a game that kind of was a microcosm for that, with Luis Ortiz's early struggles. Some people might have turned it off. Some people might have given up. But shame on you, because the Guardians come back to tie it in the 8th and then explode in the 9th. Class A makes it a little interesting, giving up the first hits and the first runs for the Tigers since the 3rd inning. Bullpen did their job. Luis Ortiz settled in. felt like everyone in the lineup showed up and showed out, but I really, in my mind, Jose and Angel Martinez stood out in this one. Guardians going for the sweep tomorrow. It's a tough matchup, but when you take 3 out of 4 from the best team in baseball, how can you not feel good?
Yeah, 100%. He nailed it right there. Chad Allen will go in the finale. We'll see how he responds going up against Tarek Skubal, but you put yourself in this spot. So kudos to the Guardians. And I'll tell you what, as Jeff said there, there might be people sleeping on this team, but they really shouldn't be. The alarm clock needs to go off.
Yeah, Kyle Manzardo working as a DH and a first baseman. He's been great this year. Jose Ramirez continues to be the most underrated superstar in baseball. Like, he'll put up a 40-40 season and nobody even talks about it. He now has hit in 17 straight games. I am a little bit worried about Emmanuel Clase still. He gave up 2 runs in the 10th. One of those was earned. We saw how he struggled in the postseason last year. He struggled early this year. Looked like he'd righted the ship. Maybe this is just a fluke. We'll see what happens in the finale. But Tarek Skubal, Detroit has to like their chances of not getting swept with on the mound on Sunday.
Yeah, they've got that. If he goes in the series finale, he might be the guy that closes out a 3-game sweep on the positive side. He can very easily end this losing streak for the Tigers on Sunday as well. The Twins did it again, Lindsay. Another walk-off victory against the Royals. And everything going right for Minnesota right now. Let's hear from Brandon. We'll get the winning side of this one first, and then we'll hear from the Royals' perspective from Jack Johnson. But Brandon, he's got to have a smile on his face, and he's always good for a nugget, and I bet you has one right here.
Your breath yet from Ty France's Friday night walk-off. The Twins hit the replay button with a Brooks Lee single. Former Twins prospect Steven Cruz driving home Carlos Correa for the game-winning run in a 5-4 victory on Saturday. Your Twins are now 29-22 and 3.5 games out of first place pending tonight's Guardians-Tigers result. I'm Brandon Warren with your Locked On Twins post-game minute. The win was the Twins' first in a game that they had trailed by 4+ runs since June 18th, 2024, when they beat the Rays at Target Field 7-6. Let's restate that. They were 0 for their last 39 in games where they had at least a 4-run deficit, that is, before Saturday. This was also the first time the Twins won back-to-back games in walk-off fashion since they walked off the Mariners and White Sox on consecutive days in July 23rd and 24th, 2023. Would you believe the Twins already have as many walk-offs this season as all of last season? That's 5. Fun fact, Twins pitchers induced 28 whiffs from Royals batters on Saturday. The last time the Royals had more was May 9th, 2024, when they had 31 in a 10-4 win over the Angels. Up next, Twins send Bailey Ober to the mound against Chris Bubich. Another tough Royals lefty in the series finale at Target Field on Sunday afternoon. First pitch, 1:10 p.m. We'll have full coverage of it. This is Locked On Twins.
Again, Brandon always has a lot of great nuggets, a lot of numbers to digest there. But again, back-to-back Ty France, Brooks Lee, back-to-back games, and Minnesota just trying to hang tough right now with the rest of the teams in that AL Central. We seem to talk about that theme night in, night out.
Yeah, they were missing guys, right? They had Royce Lewis out for a while, but Correa was on the concussion IL for 7 days. Buxton's still out, but they held serve. They continue to just not only just maintain pace, but they continue to win. And for the Royals, it's got to be frustrating at this point to have leads, to have them late, to have good relievers, Lucas Erceg, guys like that, and not be able to finish off these victories. I think Jack Johnson of Locked On Royals you're gonna feel the frustration when you hear from him in this one.
Frustrating loss for the Royals as they are walked off for the second straight day in Minnesota by the Twins. I am the host of Locked On Royals, Jack Johnson, giving you a few thoughts from today's game. Now, if you thought yesterday was going to stick with you a little bit because it was a walk-off and because it was Ty France, today feels so much worse. You led 4-0. You were feeling good. Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez with multi-hit games. But how quickly that lead just evaporated is what's going to stick with me going into tomorrow. I mean, Michael Wacha had been one of your steady hands in the rotation, and you tip your cap to Minnesota. I mean, they fought back quickly, used the long ball, something the Royals just have not done all season long. And then the Twins bullpen locked it down, where the Royals bullpen, they got a little bit shaky at the very end of the game, walking a leadoff hitter, walking a guy when you were ahead 0-2. just flat out frustrating. And now you're 2 games back of Minnesota, where you entered this series tied with them for second place in the American League Central. Now you've fallen all the way back to 4th place in the division. They're going to try to avoid the sweep tomorrow with Chris Bubich on the bump.
Jack Johnson right there, Lindsay. And I want to go back to the Twins for just a moment here because Cody Clemens hits a home run that tied the game up against Michael Wacha. And I keep thinking with Clemens, boy, oh boy, anyone could have picked him up as he was DFA'd, I believe, by the Phillies. He provides a spark. He provides, sometimes we talk about, hey, his dad played in the big leagues. That's Cody Clemens to a T. He has that background. He just brings us something different to a club. He's bringing it to the Twins right now.
There's that little bit of just being on a new team. I think that like the change of scenery sometimes helps you. Like he's batting .319 with the Twins. It's only 18 games. It's less than 50 at-bats. But this is something you see. A guy changes leagues. He's facing teams that aren't incredibly familiar with him. He's getting regular, almost everyday run. He's been playing almost every day with all these injuries. And it's working out. The question's going to be, can he sustain this? Right? What can he At what point does it start to fall off? And for right now, the Twins are reaping the rewards of this. Hopefully it keeps on going.
Ride it as long as you can. And right now, the Twins have won 16 of their last 18. Nice rebound for your Braves, losing the opener by a run on Friday to the San Diego Padres. Come back, pick up a good win, and Ronald Acuna Jr. does it again. 2 games off the IL, 2 bombs.
Yep, he has been seeing the ball really well since coming back. Both him and Matt Olson homer. This was the second, as you said, second home run in 2 days for Acuna. This is the 5th home run in 7 days for Matt Olson. He's incredibly hot right now. 13 hits for the team. Every single starter got a hit for Atlanta. And then Grant Holmes, 7 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. This was the 4th time in the last 5 starts that he's gone 6 or more innings and 2 or fewer runs. When we think of the Braves, we think of Chris Sale. We think of Spencer Strider when he's healthy, right? But Grant Holmes is proving to be one of the more reliable starters they have. And this was just an easy win. And so now they have a chance to win the series on Sunday. Spencer Schwellenbach versus Dylan Cease. Fantastic matchup in the late afternoon window.
Mets able to even up their series at a game apiece, winning at Citi Field over the Dodgers on Saturday, 5-2 the final, lost snapping the Dodgers' 3-game win streak. David Peterson, 7 2/3 innings, picked up the win. Now 3-2 is ERA, well under 3 at 2.79. Edwin Diaz, 3 strikeouts over an inning and a third to pick up the save. Juan Soto, 2-run double. That put the Mets up 4-2. And Brett Beatty, RBI single in the second, RBI double in the 8th inning. That series again 1-1. Sunday Night Baseball, Knack and Senga Sunday night on ESPN and ESPN Radio for the series finale and what is the rubber game of that 3-game set. Marlins snapping the Angels' 8-game win streak. Details on that next. This is MLB Game Night.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you're a DIYer who needs help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. For trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. And everybody, DIYers and pros, can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's at supplyhouse.com.
MLB Game Night, every game, every night. Angels win streak ending at 8. Phillies run their win streak to 9 in a row. 11 straight losses now for the A's. We get into that matchup from West Sacramento in just a moment. But somewhere John Frisch might say, hey, it was 8 in a row, but yes, you lose against the Marlins on Saturday. 6-2 the final. Connor Norby, Lindsay, 3 hits, 2 out, 3-run home run in the 7th inning. That made it 6-1. How about Jansen Junk? Junk. 5 innings in relief, 1 earned run, and 4 strikeouts. He walked just 1 and gave up an earned run. That's solid for the Marlins as they pick up the victory.
I always feel bad for guys like that who come out of the bullpen and just take half a game like that. because he might get DFA'd tomorrow to bring a fresh arm up. But I will say for the Angels, the win streak's over, but Taylor Ward had a double late. This is now 10 straight games with an extra base hit. That is a franchise record for the Angels. So they lost, but they set a new record. That's always a cool thing. And Taylor Ward's going to get even just a little bit more at the trade deadline this summer when he goes.
Wow. I was going to say Taylor Ward, AL All-Star. You're saying he's on the move at the end of July.
Why not both? Could be both.
Could be both.
Could be both.
Phillies in 11. 9-6 final against the Athletics. Both teams squandered opportunities in the 10th inning.
Nobody wanted to win this game.
Just like the Dodgers-Mets Friday night at Citi Field.
Yeah.
And by the way, they shot off fireworks at 1 a.m. in Queens on Friday night into Saturday morning. But the Phillies have now won 9 in a row. Mason Miller gave up a game-tying home run to Max Kepler in the 9th inning. That tied the game up at 6-6. Talk about another trade candidate. Are they running him into the ground knowing he's probably going to be on the move or possibly on the move?
Like, he has so much team control. It really feels like he could be part of the next competitive Athletics team. But I do think them moving him from starting to the rotation, from starting to the bullpen was their way of saying, hey, we're going to get as much visible usage out of him before we move him. I just feel like they're competitive enough where they don't need to move him, but they might. Who knows? It's John Fisher.
Phillies, bases loaded, nobody out, as we touched on in the 10th inning, and they failed to score. Athletics had a runner thrown out at the plate in the bottom of that 10th inning. Schwarber homers again. His 18th on the year. Phillies a season high 16 over 500.
And they could get the sweep tomorrow with Jesus Luzardo on the hill. One of probably the best trade acquisition of this last offseason. He's been fantastic for them. But I will say on the A side, Nick Kurtz has been fantastic. He left the game injured. Let's hope he's okay.
Mariners, Astros continuing their 4-game series over Memorial Day weekend in Houston, and the Astros come away with a 2-1 victory. Let's hear on the losing side of this one from our guy Ty Dane Gonzalez, because this was not really a well-played game. Guy was sloppy, especially early on.
There was very little margin for error down in Houston this afternoon. This is Ty Dane Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast here. Mariners fall to the Astros 2-1. They are now down 2-1 in this series. We'll see if they can salvage the series split tomorrow. But as far as today goes, this was a tale of missed opportunities, really for both clubs. A lot of traffic on the base pass for both clubs, but they go a combined 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position. The thing that separated the Astros from the Mariners in this game was that they were able to capitalize on a couple of big errors by the M's in the first inning. They get both of their runs off of those 2 errors, and that's really the story. That's what you can ultimately link this loss back to for the M's. Brian Wu and Framber Valdez both weren't fantastic, but they were able to battle. They were able to get deep into their respective starts, and they were able to get in their bag when they absolutely needed it the most. And both offenses really struggled. Again, it really just came down to who made the most mistakes, and the Mariners didn't make too many mistakes. They just made more than the Astros did, and they end up paying the price for it. So again, we'll see if they can salvage a series split tomorrow, and then we'll talk to you guys on the Locked On Mariners podcast on Monday. See you then. Peace.
Yeah, not a lot of offense in terms of runners in scoring position on either side. Framber Valdez picked up the win, 4th on the season, as he gave up just the 1 earned run over 6 innings of work. This is a series that's, again, Mariners have a chance for the split, and if they do it on the road, I think you'll walk away happy. Yes?
Yes. The way that this series started, the way that they played today. I mean, Brian Wu, no earned runs. Those 2 runs were unearned, but he allowed 9 hits. And they had to get 3 different double plays just to try to salvage some of these innings for him. So if you can, you scored 1 run, obviously you lose here. If you can get 1 more win, salvage us on the road, you're okay with the outing.
Eric Heisman, Locked On Astros. He's got the winning perspective from Houston on Saturday.
Favorite Astros podcast.
Well, the Houston Astros won 2-1 by the skin of their teeth today, but they are up 2-1 on a 4-game set, hoping to come back on Sunday and win 3 of 4 from the Mariners. Tough matchup tomorrow, but today they did just enough, scoring 2 runs. Christian Walker got in the mix. It wasn't a home run, but it was an RBI single, and so you like to see him getting RBIs no matter how it works out. At least the Astros got a win. Today was our second annual Locked on Astros group outing. It was a phenomenal game. We had about 27 of y'all there in the ballpark. We got to celebrate. We handed out bobbleheads and things like that. So thank y'all for tuning in to Locked on Astros. Thank you for supporting us. The Astros come back Sunday to try to win 3 out of 4 from the first place Mariners and just inch ever so closer to trying to take back over the AL West. Remember, we're your team every day. Go Stros.
And I'll do a tip of the cap for creativity right there. And you know what? That's terrific. So a tip of the cap to y'all.
There you go. Luis Castillo versus Colton Gordon in the finale. Colton Gordon's making his 3rd career start in the majors. He's going to face off against Luis Castillo with a series win on the line. No pressure, buddy. No pressure.
No pressure. His numbers are odd. He's given up a lot of runs, but a lot of strikeouts in his 2 starts and I think just 1 walk as well. So we'll see if he can continue some of those trends. Reds, Cubs in Cincinnati on Saturday. Reds able to even up the series, win 6-4. We hear from our guy, Jeff Carr, on the victory in the Queen City for the home team.
That's much more like it from Elly De La Cruz, taking over the ball game, leading the Reds to a win. He almost single-handedly beat the Chicago Cubs on Saturday, and then Andrew Abbott on the mound was just, that was a good performance by him. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast, and the Cincinnati Reds beat the Cubs 6-4 thanks to 4 RBIs off of 2 hits from Elly De La Cruz. He also got a walk as well, but his home run in the first inning set the tone. The Reds once again took the lead early. This time they were able to hang on, largely due in part because of Andrew Abbott's stellar pitching performance again. The month of May, Andrew Abbott's going to be sad to see this month go because he's only allowed 2 earned runs in the entire month. But Elly De La Cruz, that is what we need from him to take over at the plate. This team has scuffled at the plate recently. If Elly can lead them, we can see them come out of this funk. Love to see it. Now they got a chance for a series win on Sunday.
What I like from Jeff there, Lindsay, is the fact that, Elly De La Cruz is one of those guys. He's still young, but he can put it on his shoulders and he can carry the weight and lead this team for a few weeks at a time. He just has to become a little bit more consistent, and maybe it's the start of something.
And I think one of the big things that he had to start doing was just settling for getting the ball in play, right?
Yeah.
So he has that 2-run home run in the first, but in the 5th inning, he comes back around. There's 2 men in scoring position. He gets a single deep enough in the outfield that both guys can score. That's what he has to do. And when he does that, you combine that with his speed, his defense. He's one of the best players in baseball.
Justin Turner, I had to look at this a couple of times. Home run, just his first with the Cubs. Carson Kelly also had a home run, his 9th on the year. That came in the 9th inning. Cubs 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Who you taking? Ben Brown, Cubs, Nick Lodolo, Reds in the finale.
They're in Cincinnati. Give me Nick Lodolo. Ben Brown tends to be a fly ball pitcher when he's not on. That's not the ballpark you want to be a fly ball pitcher in. So give me Nick Lodolo in the finale. But they'll go back to Wrigley next weekend and play 3 more in Wrigley.
All right, I do truly believe this. I don't know if there's bias or not, but the Boston Red Sox lead the majors right now in storylines on a consistent daily, day in, day out basis. Alex Bregman, IL. Strain quad could be at least until the trade deadline. So as Lou Merloni said on Nesson on Saturday, Lindsay, hey, the Red Sox front office, they're going to say, hey, it's like we're acquiring a bat at the trade deadline because we're getting Alex Bregman back. Marcelo Meyer up from the minors, 0 for 4 on the nightcap, 3 strikeouts. Red Sox walked off. Their 2 wins in this series against the lowly Orioles right now in come-from-behind fashion. They walked off with a 6-5 victory in 10 in Game 1. Rafael Devers, why they pitched to him in the 10th inning, I don't know. He came through. Orioles come back and win the nightcap 2-1. And the Red Sox had an opportunity in the 8th inning, squandered it as they had 2 on with nobody out. Cedar Rafaela can't get down a bunt to save his life. Trevor Rogers, though, for the Orioles, 6 1/3 scoreless. Lucas Giolito, Red Sox wasted his 7 scoreless innings as well. But the Orioles do get a split of the doubleheader, and they'll possibly get a split of the series on Sunday if they win the finale at Fenway.
Baltimore really needed this great outing from Trevor Rogers because they just have not had the pitching all year. That was the reason the manager got fired. That's going to be the reason the GM eventually gets fired, and they don't make the postseason this year.
Our guy JD has the details on a Cards winner, and the Nats get back in the win column. Details next. All right, third and final segment here. We'll go a little rapid fire, but we will hear from JD in just a moment. Cardinals, 6-5 winner. D-backs, 4 in the top of the 8th inning to go up a run 5-4. But, hey, the Cards able to come back and pick up the victory. Jordan Walker was one of the heroes in this one for St. Louis as they continue their winning ways. And we do hear from JD as he's got the details.
The roller coaster season for Jordan Walker continues on Saturday, but ends with a good note as the Cardinals take down the Arizona Diamondbacks by a score of 6-5. Hey, it's JD from Locked On Cardinals. And Jordan Walker, MVP of this game because he had 2 huge hits. Had the 2-run double that gave the Cardinals the lead. Then he gave the lead back to the Diamondbacks when he missed the ball in right field, but makes up for it with the game-winning RBI single in the bottom of the 8th inning. Matthew Liberatore was awesome. 7 innings, 1 run, 4 Ks. His season ERA down to 2.73. And let's not forget about what Nolan Arenado did in this one. Bottom of the 8th inning, gets the ground ball, is able to put the ball in play, doesn't strike out, doesn't pop up, grounds out, puts the ball in play. Tying run scores, and it actually moves the runner over from second to third, which ends up being the game-winning RBI. So lots of good stuff there on that play just by putting the ball in play. And then in the bottom of the 9th inning, he makes a diving play to his left that keeps the ball on the infield, gets the runner at first, saves the tying run for scoring. Just huge stuff from Nolan Arenado. He may not have the power he used to have, but he's still helping the St. Louis Cardinals team win almost every game. Never quit after this 8th inning. A huge victory for the Cardinals over the Diamondbacks. For the latest updates and info, be sure to keep it Locked On Cardinals.
Cardinal way. Put the ball in play, good things happen. I feel like JD really overemphasized that, so we could talk about it.
Yeah, he was just trying to set us up. I mean, this defense has been really, really good, both on offense and on defense. They believe, hey, put the ball in play and let's make that defense make a play. And you heard him reference Jordan Walker missed a ball in the outfield, allowed, gave up a hit they shouldn't have had, but then turned around and got the game-winning RBI to make up for it. And then Arenado continuing to be great defensively. That entire defense is much improved from last year with most of the same personnel. I don't really know what they're doing differently, but it's working for them.
I love that Liberatore is having success as a starting pitcher. Gave up the 1 earned run, home run to Randall Grichuk in the 5th inning, went 7. Cardinals, 15 wins now over their last 19 games. This is something that people have to really start paying attention to. Nationals lost on Friday in the series opener against the Giants. Shutout on Friday. Come back 3-0 shutout win to even up the series at a game apiece. Nationals have now won 6 of 7.
Yeah, the one they beat my Braves for 2 this week, but getting contributions everywhere. James Wood, 2-run homer in the first. He's got 35 RBI on the year. Robert Hassel, who they called up when Dylan Cruz got hurt, he had his first MLB RBI in the 7th inning here. And then Jake Irvin went 8 scoreless innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. If they can get pitching performances like that, because the rotation's really been the weak point for them outside of Mackenzie Gore, they can get rotations like pitching performances like that. They're a dangerous team and could contend for a wild card this year.
Pirates a walk-off winner against the Milwaukee Brewers on Friday. Came back, won on Saturday 2-1. Now up 2-1 in the series. Hey, Pirates have won 4 of 5. So with that, we welcome in a very happy Gary from Locked On Pirates.
Pirates win a good game today. They played well. 2-1. Mitch Keller pitched great. O'Neal Cruz had a nice hit, and Spencer Horwitz had a couple real clutch hits too. Hi, I'm Gary from Locked On Pirates. I mean, the offense still has to take baby steps, but we are starting to see production from the very top of the order, and that's what I think we expected to see. I don't think we expected to see World Series performance on this offense, but if they can get back to league average and at least supporting the team enough to win when they do get a nice pitching performance like they did today again, that's progress. Not sure where it's going yet, but we're starting to gain a little bit of traction with some things. They're playing better baseball. It feels a little bit more competitive. That said, we're playing very competitive teams right now. The Reds and Brewers aren't a lot better than the Pirates, if they are at all. We're going to talk about more of this on Monday's episode of Locked On Pirates. Check it out.
Big thing for me, O'Neal Cruz, RBI triple in the 7th. I feel like every single Pirates win, we're talking about a big O'Neal Cruz extra base hit late in a game.
Yeah. And, again, it's a theme around baseball. Guys come up to the big leagues. They're not finished products the way we've seen in prior decades, and they're learning how to win at the big league level. That is not easy, and the Pirates are showing that. And again, we know they're not getting 100% support. But Spencer Horwitz picked up during the offseason, injured in spring training, and really had surgery in the offseason, so he was behind going into spring training. But that's a bat. That's going to be an interesting bat for them this year.
That's a piece. Like they have needed those guys that have multiple years of team control that can step in and can fill positions of need. They haven't had a good first baseman in a while. So steps in, does a great stuff for them, and they get the win out of it thanks to him.
Hey, how about the Rays taking care of business again at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa as they beat the Blue Jays 3-1 on Saturday? They're starting to roll a bit.
Every single Rays run came in the first inning, and then they had to hold on for 8 more. Junior Caminero, talking about a prospect, had to come up and learn how to win. 3-run home run in the first, and then everything after that was just trying to hold on while Vlad hit a home run, but they held Toronto to 6 hits.
White Sox down 4-2 in the 6th inning. Andrew Benintendi 2-run double to put the White Sox up 5-4. Sosa had a 3-run double to make it 8-5. They thumped the Rangers 10-5. Rangers have lost 6 in a row, just 14 runs total during that current 6-game stretch. Jock Peterson hit by a pitch, taken out of the game in the 4th inning. Rangers manager Bruce Bochy informing the media afterwards, Peterson right-hand fracture, hitting under 200, maybe a lost season. We'll see if he can come back at some point. I would expect at least 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking 6 to 8. Depends on which bone it was in the hand, but either way, bad thing for an offense that has been struggling. I know he hasn't been great, but he has the potential to be really good. We saw it in Arizona last year, but maybe they can salvage and not give the White Sox their first sweep of the season. They have got Patrick Corbin on the mound against Davis Martin tomorrow.
Hey, of the two of us, you're the optimist, and I gave the 4 to 6. I'm going to stick with that projection on this one.
You're probably right. You're probably right on that one.
Final thought. One final swing.
One final swing here. Feels like a lot of low-scoring games today and a lot of extra innings late. We've seen just really good offenses. Mets, Dodgers yesterday. A's were a good offense. Just not able to score runs late in an extras. And that's something I think we need to maybe pay a little bit of attention to going forward.
Again, the Rockies will have an opportunity to take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees if they win on Sunday in the series finale. And as we just touched on with our last game of the night, the White Sox have an opportunity for their first series sweep of the season as well. That is a wrap for us. Be sure to tell your friends all about us. MLB Game Night, every game, every night. We encourage you to subscribe to the Locked On MLB YouTube channel. Subscribe and give us a 5 for 5 review on the audio podcast as well. Once again, MLB Game Night, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get your podcasts. MLB Game Night, every game, every night.